Interesting realization, and that's really where the change of this world begins. It begins from within ourselves as we recognize the change of this world begins from within ourselves. And there we see that what's wrong with me is what's wrong with the world. When we all have something within our heart that is not pure, that is not love. We all are driven to a certain degree, of course some more than others, but we're all driven by selfish motives. We all want to feed ourselves. We all concern ourselves with what we want. We want what we want. We seek what we want. We go for that. We look for that. And if that's the case, there's no surprise that we are living in a world where we are struggling side by side, where we're competing against each other, where 1% of the people control 99%. This is the old consciousness we're all part of, but it is changing, and it is changing as we are changing. As we are changing, the world is changing. This is the most difficult thing one can ever do, but also the most important thing. I notice that also within myself, which is why I'm talking about that. These things, where I look at other people in terms of what they can do for me, where I have expectations of others, where I look at people in terms of how I want them to be. And I get disappointed when people are different, which is unrealistic, because people are the way they are. We all are unique in our own way. We all have this. That's the whole point of this image, is this is our nature. And the learning of how to be more natural is really the point. That is something very, very important, because we never learn that. As we learn to become unnatural, we're living in this world, where again, what drives us is the need to produce and consume. But who we really are is something that we can learn about as we look within. And as we look within, as we find not only our beautiful aspects, our love, our creativity, our happiness, which is something we sadly have lost sight of, we've become disconnected from, as we look for happiness, we look for love, as we look for God. While all of these elements are part of who we are, our real nature, our authentic nature. But as we find that, as we look within ourselves, we find those elements within ourselves, we also find the other side of love, of God, of happiness, of our creativity. And that's the dark side, the dark elements, the shadow side, which exist in all of us. And what happens is that we project what we have in here outwardly. Or the world outwardly is a projection of what's in here. So if you think about that, to change the world, we cannot just go against the system or fight the system. Actually, I really believe it's time to make peace. To let go of our need to change this world, to let go of our need to change other people, because we cannot do that. We only can change ourselves. And that's where the change of this world begins. It's difficult, really it is, to become aware of that. It's uncomfortable. We don't want to look at that. Which is why we have a tendency of going through this world where we're looking for people who are the way we are, the way we want them to. And if people are nice to us, and if we like them, everything is fine, of course. As soon as there's a problem, what happens? People argue with each other. It's completely unnecessary. Or rather, it is an indication of what's missing, and that is learning. That is real learning. Something I would like to draw attention to here with Realize to Actualize. It's very, very important. And nobody can teach you that. Not even me. But you can learn this for yourself, and that's the point. And I hope you can take that message and do something with that message. And if you'd like to learn more about this, I'll be happy to talk to you further. Take a look at the website, realizetoactualize.com. Thanks for watching, and keep it real.